Whispers of Stone, the enigmatic tale of the weeping angels. Hey everyone, have you ever passed by a stone angel in a park or cemetery and felt like there was more to it than just cold marble? Like maybe, just maybe, it moved when you weren't looking? Tonight, let's delve into one of the most intriguing and spine-chilling legends out there, the weeping angels. Grab a seat, get comfy, and let's explore this mysterious tale together. So where did these enigmatic figures come from? Well, legends about statues coming to life aren't exactly new. Ancient civilizations like the Greeks and Egyptians had myths about stone figures imbued with spirits or gods. But the weeping angels are a bit different. Some say the first stories emerged in medieval Europe. Travelers whispered about statues that appeared in different places than where they were before. Imagine leaving your village, waving goodbye to the stone angel at the gate, only to find it ahead of you on the road miles away. Creepy, right? Others trace the tales back to even older times. In some cultures, people believed that angels who wept were mourning humanity's sins, forever frozen in sorrow. But maybe, just maybe, those tears hid something more sinister. Let's talk about their appearance. You know the ones. Beautiful angelic figures with wings, often covering their faces with their hands, as if in eternal grief. They stand in churches, cemeteries, and gardens, peaceful, yet there's something unsettling. Why are they weeping? Some say it's a sign of respect for the departed. Others think it's a way to mask their true intentions. After all, a hidden face can conceal many secrets. Have you ever felt like one was watching you, even though its eyes were covered? It's that feeling you can't shake, like when you think someone's staring, but when you turn around, there's no one there. Except here, it's a statue. Here's where things get really wild. There's this belief that weeping angels can only move when they're not being observed. Sounds straight out of a sci-fi novel, but bear with me. Think about it. Have you ever played that game where you sneak up on someone, but freeze when they look your way? Now imagine that with something that can only move when you look away. Blink, and it gets closer. Look away, and who knows where it'll be when you glance back. It's tied to this concept called the observer effect, where the very act of watching something can change its behavior. Maybe these angels have mastered it in the creepiest way possible. Stories of encounters have been passed down for generations. In the 1700s, there were accounts of people disappearing near old churches adorned with angel statues. Villagers would whisper that the angels took them. During World War II, soldiers reported strange occurrences in bombed-out cities. Statues that weren't there before appeared overnight. Some patrols would lose members without a trace, the only clue being a nearby stone angel. Even recent tales circulate. Hikers getting lost in the woods, last seen near old ruins with, you guessed it, weeping angel statues. Coincidences? Perhaps, but it's enough to give you goosebumps. Now, here's a theory that's both fascinating and terrifying. What if these angels don't just move, but feed? Not on physical matter, but on time itself, your potential future. Imagine being touched by one and suddenly finding yourself decades in the past. You're alive, but everything and everyone you knew is gone or hasn't even happened yet. Meanwhile, the angel consumes the energy of the life you would have lived. It's like stealing your future. There are tales of people turning up in historical records who shouldn't be there. Modern items found in ancient layers of the earth. Could these be traces of the angel's victims? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? In our age of smartphones and constant connectivity, you'd think myths like this would fade. But nope, they're adapting. Videos pop up online showing statues appearing to move when the camera glitches or shifts away. Some security footage shows shadows and shapes that weren't there before. Sure, maybe it's just a trick of the light or video distortion, but what if it's not? People share stories on forums and social media about encounters in cities, statues that seem closer than before, or ones that weren't there yesterday. It's like the urban environment has become their new playground. These legends have definitely left their mark on pop culture. Movies, TV shows, books, they've all borrowed elements of the weeping angels. And why not? The idea of something that moves when you're not looking taps into a deep-seated fear of the unknown. Artists create sculptures and paintings inspired by them, blending beauty with horror. Writers pen stories that keep us up at night, making us question every statue we pass by. It's fascinating how such myths evolve and spread, influencing and being influenced by the media. It's a cycle that keeps the legend alive and ever present in our minds. Of course, not everyone buys into the hype. Skeptics point out logical explanations, statues being moved for maintenance, optical illusions, or simple misinterpretations. Psychologists talk about our brain's tendency to find patterns, even when there are none. It's called pareidolia. Ever seen a face in the clouds or heard your name in random noise? Same idea. But for every skeptic, there's someone who swears they've experienced something unexplainable. They might not convince the non-believers, but their stories add fuel to the fire, keeping the legend alive. So, what's the takeaway here? Are the weeping angels real, or are they just figments of our collective imagination? Maybe they represent our fears of the unknown, of being watched, of losing control, or perhaps they're a reminder to pay attention to the world around us. Next time you're out, take a moment to really look at those statues. Appreciate the artistry, the history, but maybe, just maybe, keep an eye on them a little longer than usual. After all, it can't hurt to be cautious, right? At the end of the day, legends like the Weeping Angels captivate us because they blur the lines between reality and the supernatural. They make us question what's possible and remind us that there's still mystery in the world. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, these stories add a bit of thrill to our everyday lives. So stay curious, keep exploring, and maybe keep your eyes open a bit wider. Thanks for hanging out with me on this journey into the unknown. If you've got any spooky stories or thoughts about the Weeping Angels, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, take care and remember, sometimes it's the things we overlook that surprise us the most.